A lot of people think getting ahead financially in your 20s starts with making a lot of money. That helps, obviously. I'm not going to sit here and pretend a higher salary is irrelevant while rent, food, insurance, and basically everything else are competing to see who can become more expensive first. But income alone isn't the answer. We've all seen someone get a raise and somehow look even more broke 6 months later. Better apartment, better car, more subscriptions, a few small upgrades that quietly turn the new salary into the old salary wearing nicer clothes. So the real question is this: why do some people start creating financial breathing room in their 20s while others earn more every year and still feel like payday is life support? It usually isn't one genius investment. It isn't giving up every enjoyable thing. And it definitely isn't buying a course from a man filming beside a car he may or may not own. It comes down to 5 things, but the order matters. This is because each one protects the next, and the 5th is the one that can quietly undo the first 4. The first thing is to create a real gap between what you earn and what you spend. Not a theoretical gap. Not I should have about 300 left if nothing weird happens. Something weird always happens. A birthday appears, your car makes a noise it's been saving for the worst possible week, you open a food delivery app while tired, and suddenly dinner is a service fee, a delivery fee, a small order fee, and what feels like a personal processing fee. If saving depends on money being left at the end of the month, you would never save. The fix is deciding the gap before the month begins. Work out what actually comes in after deductions. Then list the costs that keep your normal life running. Housing, utilities, transport, groceries, minimum debt payments, insurance, anything that genuinely has to be paid. And what remains is not automatically spending money. Part of it should leave your main account as soon as you're paid. Maybe that starts at 5%. Maybe it's 10. Maybe your current situation only allows a small fixed amount. The habit matters before the amount. A smaller automatic transfer is doing more for you than a larger amount you keep planning to save once life calms down. Keep the setup simple. Your income lands in one place, bills are moved into a separate account, savings go somewhere you don't casually spend from, daily spending stays in the account connected to your card. That separation removes a surprisingly exhausting question. Can I actually afford this? Your spending balance gives you the answer. If the money is there after the important transfers, fine, spend it. If it's gone, you're done until the next pay cycle. You just stop turning every minor inconvenience into a purchase. That first step creates the gap, but a gap by itself is fragile. You can save consistently for 3 months, feel like you're finally moving forward, and then one repair wipes out everything. Now you're back at zero, angry at the entire concept of responsibility. That leads you to the second thing. Build an emergency fund before trying to look financially impressive. Emergency savings are boring because the best case scenario is that nothing happens. You put money aside and it sits there doing absolutely nothing interesting. No exciting chart, no dramatic screenshot, it just waits. But that money changes the way normal problems affect you. Without a buffer, a car repair becomes debt. A medical expense becomes debt. Losing hours at work becomes debt. An unexpected flight, a broken phone, a damaged appliance, same answer every time. It becomes debt. The emergency may last a day. The debt created by it can stay for months. Start by aiming for 1 month of essential expenses. That means the cost of keeping your basic life running. Not 1 month of your normal lifestyle plus whatever happened during the unusual expensive weekend. Once you have 1 month, work slowly toward a larger cushion. 3 to 6 months is a common target, but the right amount depends on how stable your income is, whether anyone relies on you, and how difficult it would be to replace your job. Keep the money separate from your everyday account. Accessible? Yes. Visible every time you check if you can afford lunch? Probably not. Because money becomes strangely persuasive when you look at it too often. You start with, that's for emergencies. Then it becomes, technically, replacing my headphones would improve my quality of life. Next thing you know, your emergency fund has been deployed to address the national crisis of slightly outdated electronics. The real value of a buffer is time. Without savings, every decision has to protect the next paycheck. You may stay in a bad situation or ignore a useful opportunity because even a short interruption in income feels impossible. That does not mean quitting after one annoying meeting. 1 month of expenses is not a retirement package. It just means your entire life isn't balanced on the next deposit arriving exactly when expected. So now you've created a gap and you've protected it with cash. But eventually you reach a frustrating limit. You can only cut so much. You can cancel subscriptions, cook more often, shop around, stop paying for things you barely use. That helps. It's worth doing, but you cannot budget your way around an income that is genuinely too low for basic cost. At some point, the problem stops being the coffee and the problem starts being how much you earn. That is the third thing. Build skills and evidence that increases your value in the job market. A lot of people approach this backwards. They collect qualifications first and ask whether anybody pays for them later. A course can feel productive, but if employers are not asking for that skill, it may not move your income at all. Before choosing the next course, look at real roles that pay more than yours. What do they ask for repeatedly? Maybe it's a technical skill, maybe it's experience managing projects, handling clients, supervising people, analyzing data, selling, writing, designing, or using a specific piece of software. Look for patterns. One job listing can have strange requirements. 10 similar listings telling you what the market values. Then compare those requirements with what you can already prove. That word matters. Prove. Saying you're hardworking is fine, but almost everybody says that. Evidence is stronger. Keep track of work completed, problems you've solved, money you've saved, time you reduced, people you trained, responsibilities you took on. You are building a case that you can operate at the next level, whether the opportunity comes from your current employer or someone else. And don't confuse being useful with progressing. Sometimes you become so good at your current role that the company has every reason to keep you exactly where you are. You do more, people depend on you, your name comes up whenever something difficult needs to be handled. That feels like progress. But if your title, pay, and future options stay the same, you may simply be becoming more convenient. Every year, ask whether you're learning, earning more, or just becoming busier. You do not need to leave every time work gets irritating. If that were the rule, most of us would be changing jobs before lunch. But you should know whether staying is still helping you. This is where people usually assume the answer is to chase the highest salary possible. I'm not saying not to get that bag, but that's incomplete. A higher income gives you more room, but it also creates a new way to stay stuck. Because if every raise turns into a bigger car payment, higher rent, more expensive habits, and a lifestyle you can no longer reduce, earning more didn't create freedom. It created more bills. So the fourth is capture part of every income increase before your lifestyle absorbs it. Let's say your take-home pay rises by $500 a month. You could immediately upgrade everything and wonder why the raise made no difference. Or you could automatically direct part of the increase towards savings and investing. Then enjoy the rest. You do not have to save all of it. That's how sensible plans turn into punishment and get abandoned. But keep some of every raise. If you save or invest half and use the other half to improve your life, you've done both. Your present gets better and your future does too. This is also where investing becomes important. Not before you can pay your bills, not with money you may need next month, and not because somebody online promised that a random asset is about to explode. Once your basic cash buffer exists, set up a regular contribution into an investment approach you actually understand. For many people, that may mean diversified low-cost funds held for long term. The exact account and tax rules depend on where you live. The important part is consistency. The internet makes investing look like a constant decision. Buy this, sell that, panic because a chart turned red. Most people do not need a full-time job staring at prices. They need a repeatable plan, reasonable diversification, low cost, and enough patience to leave it alone. Boring is useful because you can continue after the excitement disappears. So now the system is starting to work. You have a gap, you have a buffer, your income is growing. Part of the growth is being saved and invested. At this point, the biggest threat may not be a lack of knowledge. It may be one expensive decision. And that's the fifth and last thing. Protect yourself from major fixed costs and debt that make your entire life harder to change. Please, small purchases can add up, but a few major decisions usually matter far more. Housing that takes too much of your income, a car payment that seemed manageable until insurance, fuel, maintenance, and repairs joined the group chat, high interest debt used to maintain a lifestyle. Small spending affects your month. Big fixed costs can shape your next 5 years. Before taking on a major payment, don't ask only, can I make the payment? Ask what the payment prevents. Does it reduce what you can save? Does it make changing jobs harder? Could you still afford it if your income dropped? Are you buying something useful, or are you buying proof that you're doing well? That last one gets expensive. There's nothing wrong with wanting a nicer car, a better apartment, good clothes, or travel. Money is supposed to improve your life, but you do not need to look established while you're still building. Most people are not studying your finances closely enough to justify the performance anyways. They have their own bills to ignore. Keeping fixed costs reasonable gives you flexibility. You can save faster, invest more, take calculated career risk, recover from problems, and change direction without every decision being approved by a collection of monthly payments. That is the connection between all 5 things. Getting ahead is not one dramatic move. It is a sequence. First, create a space between earning and spending. Then, protect the space from emergencies. Once the basics are stable, raise your income. When your income rises, keep part of the increase instead of letting your lifestyle take all of it. And protect the whole system by being careful with the few decisions large enough to undo the years of progress. Most people want to start with investing because it looks like the part where money grows. But investing cannot rescue a system that leaks every month. If you got some value from this video, like and subscribe. Put in the comments below, what are some things that you are doing right now to get ahead in your 20s? Help out other 20-year-olds. And if you want more information about getting ahead in your 20s, click the video that's popping up on your screen right now. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.